I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know.
And for my friends running for governor tonight, the model that Bob McDonnell showed in Virginia was a template for other gubernatorial races for Republicans. He went out there and he talked about practical, pragmatic, kitchen table issues, creating jobs for Virginia, creating a better economy, creating an environment of opportunity. That's what people wanted to hear. That's what people wanted to make sure that our elected leaders were able to get in there and fight for the people. That's what we need to be able to do. I think we can do that. A little bit more in politics. I think that we need to fight for every vote. I don't think we should take any vote for granted, and I don't think we should take any vote as lost. I think if we can go out there and we can talk about our principles, and we can talk about policy, and we can talk to folks about how our policies are better than the other side, if we can create that contrast and that differentiation, I think even the most liberal folks out there might give us a second look. I think there's not a segment of society that we shouldn't be talking to. And I come to you as a proud Hispanic Republican, someone who served our nation. I tell you now today, do not give up on the Hispanic vote. Do not give up on conservatives. Do not give up on a constituency that is natural to the Republican Party. The Hispanic vote is gettable. It's eminently gettable. And we can get the Hispanic vote without having to pander, patronize, or compromise on our principles. But what we do have to do is engage. We do have to engage the community. We need to get out there and we need to be unafraid to roll up our sleeves and go to the churches and the community groups and the restaurants like this and start talking to folks. And we can't expect to swoop in September and take a couple of photo ops and expect people to vote for you in November. It just doesn't work that way. All right? All right? We need to make a concerted, dedicated effort to say, this is my community. The Hispanic community is my community too. I don't care if you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, I don't care. Say, call it your community because all of us are in it together. Engage, be committed for the long term to say, all of us, we're all in it together. We need to, all of us together, work to make a better community, to make a community that's thriving, that's not only surviving, but thriving. We can do that. We talk about numbers, right? So we talk about the Hispanic community being the largest demographic group, the largest minority, 50% of the population. Let me give you another number to think about. 25. Number 25 represents the percent of the population under the age of 5 that is of Hispanic origin. Think about that. So 15 years from now, our workforce, our talent pool of young professionals that are going to be coming up to keep our nation's economic prosperity going. Our future economic prosperity is going to depend to a great measure on the kids that are under 5 years old today. We need to make sure we're engaging those young people. We're engaging those families. Our nation's prosperity depends on it. 25% of the population, that's nothing to sneeze at. And I would rather have those young kids coming up think about conservative principles, conservative policies, and voting for conservative candidates than the alternative. The other thing I'm going to mention about politics is this, and this might be controversial to some of you, but I think for us to be able to win elections and win back a majority, we cannot have the narrowest of definitions of what it is to be a voter that we want to vote for us. We need to win, and we cannot win based on just our base. Our base is 20% of the electorate, 30 at best. The other side has the same thing. It's that vast middle that we need to be able to attract and approach, right? I call it the Republican triple play. I think beyond our base, we need to go after the 3 M's: minorities, moderates, and moms, right? Minorities, by and large, whether it's Hispanics or African Americans or Asians, they still maintain conservative values and principles. Don't let them kid you, even those folks that call themselves liberals. If you press them, trust me, they will have some basic conservative values. Moderates. Those moderates are kind of a weird bunch, aren't they? Right? But if you press them again, you know what we call conservatives, there are 3 basic categories of conservatives that we talk about. economic conservatives, national security conservatives, and social conservatives, even those moderates, they're generally 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3 ain't bad in my book, right? I'll take that vote. I'll take those voters any day of the week. And then moms. You ladies out there, are there any moms in the audience? Any mothers? Yeah? God bless you. God bless you. You create life, you nurture, and you nature. And I'll tell you what, it's the women that make decisions in our households, including voting decisions, to be honest with you, and shopping decisions. And I'll tell you what, when I first got married, I was that typical Latino macho. I said, I'm the man of the house. I make all the big decisions in this house. You can take care of all the other little decisions. And I'm happy to report, after 19 years of marriage, I've never once had to make a big decision. So it's true. So God bless the ladies. We got to reach out to the moms. The moms are the ones that are concerned about the well-being of their children. They're concerned about the education of their kids. They're concerned about the future economy they're going to leave behind. They're concerned about health care, right? Reach out to the moms. Make sure they understand that the Republican Party and Republican principles and conservative values that we bring to the table and the approaches that we bring are better for their kids. The last thing I'm going to talk about is personality. We talk philosophy, we talk policy, we talk politics. I'm going to talk personality a little bit. Personality is how you come on, the way you engage folks, the way you talk to folks. I know we didn't talk about some key issues, and we can talk about them now, but one of the issues that I wanted to bring to the table is the whole immigration debate. And I'll be honest with you, as a Puerto Rican, I couldn't, that wasn't my issue. I couldn't spell immigration a few years ago, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? We've been U.S. citizens since 1917, right? So immigration was not my thing. But the way that we handled that debate, the tone and the tenor and the rhetoric has hurt us as Republicans. I think we need to own up to that. I'm talking real stuff to you. I'm talking straight up, right? I think we as Republicans, as a party of ideas and reforms and solutions, as a party that has always tackled those big, daunting issues, we need to step up. And we need to step up and say, this is a big problem. We're going to fix this. We're going to come up with conservative solutions for this big problem, and then we're going to move on to the next one. We're going to move on to healthcare and the economy and national security. This is one of those things that we need to tackle in a serious, pragmatic way. Beyond the rhetoric, because the rhetoric is killing us among a key constituency that ought to be a natural home for Hispanics. So let's get past the rhetoric, let's get past the tone and the tenor, let's come up with real conservative solutions for this big problem and move on. And let's get back to the days where we were capturing 44% of the Hispanic vote, and I guarantee you, within 10 or 12 years, we're going to be a majority among Hispanic voters. Let me leave you with one thought. For all the Hispanic conservatives out there, it ain't enough to point fingers. It ain't enough to say they oughta, or they should, or they shouldn't have. And how can they do that? I'm going to challenge you tonight to get engaged. I'm going to challenge you tonight to get involved. I'm going to say that it's not enough to be able to complain about what somebody else is doing. I need you to step up and get involved in the political process. I need you to step up and volunteer with your Republican committee at the local level. I need you to step up to run for state central committee. I need you to get involved in the party at the local, state, and national level, because if you don't, then you ain't got nothing to complain about. Get in there, get involved. Walk the precincts, make the phone calls, stuff the envelopes, do the things that everybody else does to get engaged in the political process, because if you don't, you will be an outsider and you will remain an outsider into the future. Get involved. There's too much at stake in our nation's history, in our nation's security, in our nation's economy. You need to be in the fight and you need to be in the game. I will be there with you. Thank you very much for your time tonight. I'm happy to take any questions.